A very good morning to everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for this arrival press conference with Proteas coach Mark Boucher and Proteas captain Temba Bavuma. The way that we'll go about today's press conference is that we'll start with questions for Mark, and then we'll move on to questions for Temba. Thereafter, Mark will be able to log off at the end of his section. And then we'll continue on with Temba. As usual, the housekeeping rules remain the same. Everyone, please indicate your request to ask a question on the chat panel, and keep your monitors muted while you are not asking a question. Who would like to go first? I think we'll just get started. Also, just a reminder that all questions for vernacular languages, particularly with Temba, will be asked at the end of the press conference. Nathan?
Thank you, Sips. Coach, a decent effort by the team. As the head coach and having to live the moment with the side, what would you say were the highs and lows of this tournament for yourself personally?
Yeah, can everyone hear me? I hope. Sips, everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, look, obviously the low was not getting further in the competition, which would have been nice for this group of guys. The highs, I mean, just the way that the guys are around each other. There's a lot of good team spirit that the guys have put together at the moment. I think that comes through with regards to the way we play and pressurise situations. Having lost our first game against Australia, we always knew that we were going to be under pressure to have to win every other game. So every game that we played, albeit a couple of times that we sort of needed to win the game, we won it. And that, I think, is something that we've probably been accused of in recent times, of losing games when we're under pressure. So I think that's going to stand us in good stead going forward. A lot of these guys have never been under that sort of pressure before in high pressurized games, and they came through with flying colors, and I think that's a massive positive for me going forward.
Up next, Stuart, Dinas, Fidos, and Lloyd.
Thanks, Sips. Hi, Mark. I was just checking this morning. The next World Cup is less than a year away. What does the team require now, either personnel-wise or mental shift, to take that next step?
Personnel-wise, I mean, we're going into different conditions, so we've got to look at the sort of makeup of the team. We sort of prepared for subcontinent conditions going into this World Cup. So, having a look at maybe only two outright seamers and playing two spinners. The next one, we might have to look at maybe an extra seamer, and a couple of other spots. I mean, a lot of things happen very quickly in the game of cricket. Hopefully we get one or two guys coming through our franchise system who put us under pressure to select them. I think that's only good for our system, is having a lot of competition. So we'll have to have a meeting. We're just getting over this one now. We'll have a sit down meeting and prepare for what we feel is going to be important going into the next conditions. And hopefully we find personnel to match up for that as well. So yeah, if that answers your question. Sorry, what is your second question?
No, it was sort of related. You answered the personnel side. Do you think there needed to be a mental shift as well, or are you quite satisfied with where the players are at in that regard?
No, I think we can sit down as a team, and this is where we've been going for a long period of time now. It's just challenging guys to think differently and be smart. And I thought we found a sort of way to win games of cricket in these conditions. So we'll have a look and see what sort of mental shift we need to have for Australia as well. I think that's important, and then we'll start to gradually try and incorporate that into the way that we go about things and the way that we play. So yeah, the mental shift for me is just about being smart in different conditions, and that is one thing that we have done really well. And the guys have been challenged in different ways to upskill their games, and no doubt we'll keep challenging them for the next set of conditions that we get as well.
Dinas?
How's it, Mark? Just with regards to the personnel, possible personnel changes or guys that you'd like to bring in, I just have a question about two guys. Could there be renewed discussions with Faf for maybe getting him involved again with the eye on the T20 World Cup? I know he's still available. And the other guys, Riley Rousseau, are there any plans to get him involved again?
I certainly don't think the door's closed for anyone. To be honest, the FUF conversation was had, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out. With the scheduling and all that type of stuff. Albeit it's been in tough times in COVID times. So, bubble life and that, I understand from his perspective with families and that it has been very tough. Going forward, hopefully we can get out of bubble life as soon as possible and get back to some sort of normality with regards to touring. So I haven't sat down with the selectors and spoke about the future of FUF yet. But we'll definitely have that conversation with regards to FUF and also other players as well. With regards to the Colpack guys, we've always said that the guys need to come back into our system and do really well. And we'll judge them on how they play in our franchise system. We can't judge them on sort of what they've done abroad. And there have been quite a few players who have done really well. Riley's one of them. Wayne Parnell's another one as well. So, if they are sort of going about their business in our franchise system, then there's no reason why we can't look at them and add some more depth to our Protea squad.
Firdaus?
Hi, Bouch. I just want to ask, now that you guys are back home, obviously you've only just got back, but where does the focus shift? Sorry. Where does the focus shift to at this point? And I mean, have you been given any kind of boxes you've got to tick for this summer, or anything that you really want to achieve over the next, I guess, 4 or 5 months?
So the focus for me shifts straight to the next series, which is Netherlands. So there's obviously games that we have to win there in order to qualify. So that for me is the next sort of focus for us as a team. We can't look past a very important test series at home against India, and then obviously after that the white ball stuff as well. So we'll select the Netherlands squad and also try and fit in with a bit of rest and recovery for our test guys leading into the Indian series. A couple of our players are involved in all different formats. So they've been away, some of them from Sri Lanka straight to RPL into a World Cup. So it's bubble to bubble to bubble, which can be quite telling on them mentally and physically. So I think it's a balance of resting guys and getting them ready for probably our biggest series of the summer, which is India coming to South Africa. And resting a few players, and then obviously giving opportunities to guys, knowing that results have to go away against Netherlands. So I think the focus for me right now is first prize is the Test series against India, and then obviously Netherlands.
Lloyd and then Kanyiso.
Thanks, Sips. How's it, Mark? Mark, the weeks and months leading up to the tournament, there were obviously challenges for South African cricket, and personally for yourself with the SJN unfolding the way it did and your involvement in that. How challenging was that in terms of dealing with that personally and as a team, and then when you consider what happened with Quinny ahead of game 2 and overcoming that as a group? And was there ever a period, especially in those weeks before the tournament, where you kind of considered your own position within the setup and your future within the team? I mean, has this performance at the World Cup left you in a place where you feel like you have the backing of everyone involved in South African cricket, the team and the administrators, to go forward for the next 2 years?
Yeah, it's a tough question, because whatever I say, people will try to write it in a different way, I suppose. To say it hasn't been tough, I would be lying. Yes, it was tough, probably on myself as an individual and also on the team. We had the conversation. I addressed the issue with them as well. And I'd like to believe that I had the backing of them as well after the chats and the honest sort of chats that we had. With regards to going forward, look, I know that there's a lot of media who probably don't want me in this position. My agenda has always been to try and get the best out of this group of players and get South African cricket to where I believe we should be, and that's near the top again. And until anything else happens, I will continue to try and do that to the best of my ability. There's times where I might feel backed. There's times where I might feel I'm not backed. My focus is on the players. quite simple, and it will continue to be as long as I'm in this position.
Thanks.
The last three for Bouch, Kanyiso, Shafiq, and Fidos.
Good morning, Spokazi. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Mark. Just to expand a bit on Loi's question. This summer in particular, that there's India and as you rightly say, it's an all-format series. How important is it for you, just personally, to ensure that you actually get through that particular summer unscathed from a results perspective?
I think unscathed is an interesting word that you use there. We're playing against India at home. We're playing against a team that up there with the world's best. So it's going to be, if we have a look at where we are as a test group, we are still very much growing. We're still trying to, sort of find our feet with regards to certain positions and certain, sort of guys who have just arrived in the test team. So it's going to be a good challenge and a good test for us. We did really well in the West Indies. We haven't played a test series at home for quite some time, so it'd be nice to play back in our own conditions. But once again, we're playing against a top quality team. So for me, it's not about getting unscathed. It's about going out there with an opportunity to do something special and beat India. And if we don't, we must learn the lessons and make sure that we come out as a better cricket team. So yeah, it's not about being sort of unscathed. I think it's more just about an opportunity to do something special against a very good cricket team.
Thank you.
Shafiq?
Mark, in the game against Bangladesh, when you bowled them out for 73, what was discussion with the team at halftime with regards to the effects that net run rate could have on semi-final spots?
The conversation was, yes, we want to try and win the game as soon as possible. As I said off the press conference in England, first of all, you got to go and try and win the game. That's the first sort of goal, and then set yourself up to try and get the runs in a little time as possible. That unfortunately didn't happen. We lost a wicket in, I think it was the first over. Then we ended up losing 3 wickets in the power play. So we weren't really in a position to try and bash the runs off in 6 or 7 overs. I think the wicket played a part in that as well. If you have a look at the wicket that Namibia played Pakistan on, which is the game straight after us, you see 2 informed batters in Baba Azam and Rizwan, who I think in the first 2 overs they played and missed like 7 deliveries. So there was something in the wickets, and I think you've got to respect the game of cricket first to say, listen, we can get ourselves into position to try and bash it off, then we will. If not, then let's make sure we win the game. We still won the game in 12, 13 overs. Look, in hindsight, we can look at all these different things and say, maybe we should have bashed it off in 7, 8 overs, which was the idea. Were we in position to do that? No. We didn't know what the outcome of these other games was going to be. We were focused on winning games of cricket, and we won them well. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough at the end of the day.
Is it me now?
Yes, that is. Thank you.
Thanks. But can I just ask you about your backroom stuff? Obviously, JP was just like a short-term thing. Will he be staying on, or what's going to happen there? And what is your relationship with the board now?
JP is with us, and he added a lot of great value. I think we probably have to sit down with Graham and with the board and find out if there's a position available. If they're looking to continue with him. I thought he had some fantastic value along with a lot of the other backroom staff members as well. Second question, my relationship with the board. I haven't really spoken to anyone, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really know how to answer that.
We'll wrap it up with Morgan.
Thanks, Sips. Hi, Mark. Mark, with regards to the India series starting later the year, before that, there's, of course, India A versus SAA coming to Blim for 3 unofficial tests. How important is that series regarding your plans before you welcome India?
Sorry, say it again. You broke up a bit there.
Is India A coming to South Africa to play South Africa in Blim? How important is that for your preparations and your plans going into the series against India?
So I think, you know, if you have a look at the schedule, as I said, we've got quite a few guys that are playing in all three formats. So we have to sort of rest a few guys going into a test series mentally, physically. A couple of guys, as I said, are picking up a few niggles. So, you know, the sort of fringe players you'll probably find are playing against SAA. It's an opportunity for a couple of those guys to really get some good quality cricket against a good team, as I said, and put their names into the hat for test selection. You probably find that a lot of the test players that have been playing of late won't get a chance to look at that Indian A side, and India won't be able to look at our players. So I think there's enough time for us to prepare for a test series. I've added an extra game, the Proteas against, it'll be an invitational 11 on the 4th of December to the 7th of December. There is no franchise cricket in that period of time for sort of leading up to the first test match. So we added the extra game there. We'll also meet up as a team to have a mini camp before the first test. So I think there'll be enough time for our Red Bull players to sort of get prepared for that first test. So yeah, I don't know how much of an impact that Indian versus South African A will have on us as a team, but I think for individuals it'll be a great opportunity to put their names in the hat.
Thanks.
Thanks very much, Mark, for joining us, and thank you everybody for your questions. You can log off and we'll move on to Temba. Thames, if you can please put up your video. As usual, guys, please put your request to ask a question on the chat panel and then we'll get started. Would like to kick us off? Thanks, Nathan.
And Temba, I just want to ask, in all honesty, coming to the World Cup, did you ever think that you have to possibly consider the net run rate prior to the competition?
Nathan, to be honest with you, no. I never really considered that heavily. I think we always knew in our group, we were always going to have to play our best type of cricket. So the main priority was winning enough games for us to qualify. So no, I never considered net run rate heavily.
Sorry. Lloyd and then Dinas, then Fidos.
Thanks, Sips. How's it, Temba? Welcome home and congratulations on a good showing at the tournament. Can you just speak to us a bit about your leadership, and if you think about what unfolded over those 3 weeks and how you led the team both on the field and off the field? Can you feel that growth that happened both with you as a leader and with the group of players under you over that period? Do you feel more kind of confident and assured in your leadership now after this tournament?
Yeah, look, I think, like you say, there were matters that happened off the field that put us under pressure and in challenging times as a team. And I believe that as a team, we were able to get through those moments. And I guess it was moments that could have either broken us or brought us together as a team. And I think it was more the latter. So from that point of view, there's a lot of growth within the team. I think from my side, I was obviously tested as well. I was put in situations that I think it's very hard for one to prepare for. And I guess I'm grateful that I was able to get out of those situations. In terms of my leadership, my confidence, I'm a lot more confident. I think I'm a lot more confident with the team as well. I think in terms of the trust, in terms of the backing and confidence in each other, that's definitely grown. And I do believe that we're in a better space as a team going forward.
Thanks.
Dinas?
How's it, Temba? Just following up on that, there's been a lot of compliments for you, not only from South Africa, but also from around the world about your leadership. Do you notice things like that in the media and on social media? And do you feel that you sort of have the backing of the South African cricket loving public as well?
I don't notice it per se, and I think that's mainly because I make a concerted effort to not have my head within media space. I guess from people who are close to me, or in and around my circles, I've definitely seen a different, or there's been a bit of a shift, if I could say, or a different type of energy. And that's obviously quite warming. I think obviously interacting with the media through these type of forums as well gives me that sense, in that the backing and support is there. I think me coming in as the captain, it was always going to be, the responsibility was always going to be a big one. There was always going to be pressure and expectation from all angles. And I mean, as much as us going to the World Cup, we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve, but I think we've still come out with our head held high.
Temba, you mentioned a little bit of a shift amongst people that are close to you. Was there a particular moment or just an incident that happened where things changed? And can you describe a bit more of that for us? I mean, obviously we're quite far away and doing most of it through a screen. Like, what exactly happened that caused that shift? Or how could you see that there was a shift?
Yeah, a bit hard for me to pinpoint a particular incident, but I think, as the team, before heading to the World Cup, not a lot of people had much faith in us. And I mean, those were people who were within my own circles as well. I think the type of messages I got were almost along the lines of, go enjoy the experience. There wasn't much about, in terms of really setting your sights to win the World Cup. And I guess as the tournament unfolded, the sentiments, kind of changed. I guess us qualifying became a bit more of a realistic goal, until obviously Australia beat Bangladesh the way that they did. So I think that's what I refer to when I talk about the shift. I guess also, the other off-field matters with Quinton and how all of that unfolded and how it was dealt with, that I guess helped increase people's confidence in my ability as a captain. But yeah, it's very hard for me to pinpoint a specific incident when things changed. It's almost like over a couple of days, weeks, the energy was a bit different.
Aditya, followed by Valen, and please indicate anyone if you would like to ask English questions. Otherwise, we'll move on to Xhosa.
How is it, Temba? Congratulations. My question to you is that what are the improvements that you've seen in the team in the recent past, and what do you hope to improve on going into the next few white ball series and looking into the next World Cup year from now?
Yeah, I think the coach touched on it now. One of them is our ability to play in pressure moments. I think that's something that we've done exceptionally well in this World Cup, even though we find our situations where we're sitting at home watching the World Cup from our screens. And I think that was mainly in us finding a way to get together as a team and really fighting for one another out there on the field. I think more specifically in terms of the skills, I think the bowling, over the last while has been exceptional. Our bowling unit is a world-class one. I think a lot of the people will agree to that. I think when it comes to our batting, I don't think our batting as a whole is world class as it stands. And I do think from a consistency point of view, we can do a lot more. We can do a lot more from that regard. But yeah, I think there were massive positives in the tournament. And I think it's important that now we just grow from what we've been able to lay and make sure we go from strength to strength.
Morning, Temba. Thanks for this opportunity. Congratulations on the manner that you handled yourself and led the team at the World Cup. Obviously, for us here in South Africa, it shook the nation, the Quinton de Kock issue. And I know that we have spoken a little bit about your leadership that was applauded in that situation. Can you maybe just share who you spoke to? Who did you consult with? Or who did you think about in having to face the media following that incident, and who kind of inspired you and motivated you in the way that you actually handled yourself in that very issue? And then the second part of that question is just the team's decision going forward now regarding the next time you guys play. Has the team decided that you're going to be taking the knee until such a point where you guys decide that that's no longer going to be the case? What is the status going forward?
Let me start with the last question. So I mean, I know originally what was decided was that the team would take the opportunity to, I guess, show their gesture in their particular way. That's what I understand. Things obviously changed within the World Cup. As a team, we haven't spoken yet. I guess everyone will have to get together. A guy like Dean Alger, he'll have to be a part of that conversation to see how we're going to do things going forward. So I think a conversation there still needs to happen. And I would assume that all decision makers, all role players would be involved in that decision. So you'd probably a situation where it's the team, it's the board, probably Graham Smith as well, and then a decision will be made on that. In terms of dealing with the situation, everything happened quite quickly, to be honest. There was no real time to really consult with anyone from my side. I kind of just find myself in a position having to kind of weigh up both sides of the story and then, yeah, be able to express my opinion. And I guess sometimes, I don't know, that's sometimes the best way to go about something when you don't really have a lot of time to think about it. You can really just speak to the merits of what is at hand. It doesn't become too premeditated or scripted and fake. So, yeah, I don't know who I would have really spoken to at that point in time. The people who were there were within the team. You had our manager, Volvo. You had Uspogazi, obviously, from a media point of view. Yeah, I tried to craft up something within that moment. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Temba.
Thank you.
Sorry, Valen, is there anything else?
No, that's all right. Thank you very much.
Okay. I can tell everybody that it was all Temba. He very quickly wanted to take that press conference after the post-match presentation, and he took full ownership and put himself up for press. And I agree with everybody to say that he showed a remarkable show of strength and leadership on that day. So I think full credit actually goes to him. He just stood up and he was pretty much himself, which was fantastic. We'll move on to Leighton, and then Fidos, you're replacing Shafiq. Sorry, you're replacing Tianis.
Thank you, Sips. Hi, Temba. Temba, just we've spoken now about all these incidents and stuff that happened. Do you feel, as part of your growth as captain and heading into a very important series in a couple of months against India, are those all those things that will prepare you for the pressure that will come with dealing with the India series? And then secondly, just getting back to South Africa and hopefully being able to play in front of crowds. How much are you looking forward to that? And have the team spoken about that at all?
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, we know that the India series is a big one for us as a team, especially as a test team. I think, for a guy like Dean coming in as the captain, I know he was in the West Indies. I mean, and the team did very well there. But I think India will present a different, stronger type of challenge for the Red Bull players. So I guess it's significant from that point of view. And also the fact that, we will be expecting that a number of the players stand up to the pressure that India will be bringing forth towards us. Whether I feel that my experiences of late have prepared me, I guess you could say that. But I think if I look at my career, my Proteas career, there's always been some type of pressure around me, and rightfully so. I think as an international cricketer, that's the environment that you operate in. So I guess over the years I've learned ways to deal with that pressure, to try put aside the emotions, and really deal with the issue at hand. But yeah, not to make my answer too long, but I think the India series is going to be an important one. And again, I think individually we are going to be tested. As a team, we are going to be tested. To your last question, yes, I think we spoke about it as a team. One of the most enjoyable things was playing in stadiums full of crowds. There's a different energy, a different atmosphere when you've got people who are chanting for you. Even though we were playing in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but to still have that South African support, to hear people singing the songs that we're so accustomed to back home, that was nice, more than nice. And that's something we're looking forward to. So we hope that the doors will be opened for more fans to come to the stadium.
Firdous, and if Nathan, can you indicate just on the chat panel whether your question is going to be in English or Xhosa, and then we'll just move on to those.
Thanks, Sipokazi. Temba, you were talking a little bit earlier about all the gesturing and whatnot. Can I just ask you, what is your feeling around the authenticity of this? I mean, we saw all these teams taking a knee, and obviously we know what the backdrop is to the issue that South Africa had, but how does it feel to you? Does it feel like something necessary and real, or is it maybe, like we've had some footballers say, losing its impact? Just what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think for those, the important thing is, for me at least, the important bit is, how does this all translate into our everyday life? I think that for me is the cream on top. We can all go out there, we can all raise our first goal on the knee, but if deep down in the heart, you're not really for the cause and what it stands for, and it doesn't show in your everyday behavior, then I guess it brings into question the authenticity of it all. I mean, as a South African cricket side, I think we've been put under immense pressure around this whole topic, more than any other international teams, more than any other of our local teams, for whatever reason that may be. And I think the work, the effort that has gone behind the scenes, not enough attention or acknowledgement has been given to our team. And probably because of the fact that, people from the outside don't get to see or hear the conversations that we have. But I think sometimes the pressure that is mounted on us is a bit unfair. So I think going forward, look, the decision is going to have to be a collective one. I think that's the important thing. We want to avoid a situation where things are being dictated or instructed towards players. I think we want to avoid that, but let it be a collective one. But importantly, how does it go and show in our everyday behavior, not just within the Proteas team, but within our country as a whole? I think our country has big problems. And that's where the energy, in my opinion, should really be spent at.
Thanks, Thames. Last two questions will be in Xhosa. We'll start with Kanyiso and then we'll finish with Nathan.
Mandibulele ke Siphokazi. Bye. Masibulele mandathemba ke nokwane ubuye nje kuhle manje mandiqhubeka kakuhle Emirates. Cha kumani mabini mani imibuzo yami le. Omnye ngizakubuza nje ngokweqakamba kakhulu mani. Sayibona ngokulandelana. Kakuncacisele ngokubaleka ka-Aiden uMakram nolomfo kurasi uVan der Dussen. Bininzi mani incoko ngokuba famba u-AB uyile kwi-World Cup, fanba lo mfo ufafile kwi-World Cup, kodwa ke ngizawuthi abafuma bakhawuleze banyuse banezinga labo lomdlalo bangabadlali ababalulekileyo. Makakho nti nje usicacisele babebaleki kanjani ba kuwe kulo mzuzu naqhubekeka nje makuninana i-series enkulu ne-India ephele ngonyaka.
Andibulise nami bhuti Khanyiso. Le ncoko yaka Faf no-AB incoko kudala ikhona. Yathethwa kwakuthi kwasetimini ukubana labafana singabe siyabafuna na etimini. Abantu bavuma. Kodwa ke into yathethwayo ukubana ingamnandi ukubana babe part of iqela lethu kungakubekho isimo sokubana bayafika nje kwindebe yehlathi singaphinde sibabone. Ezo ngxoxo ke zenzeka ke between bona uFaf no-AB nabantu abakhulu kwiParky Cricket South Africa bade bona bafikelela kwisigqibo esi bathe bafikelela kuso. Indlela abadlale ngabo u-Aiden noRasi, nani nimbonile kuba badlale ngendlela enkulu. Bebengabadlali abakhulu kwiqela lethu, and babonakalisile ukubana ngabantu abanoyithatha forward igame ye-South African cricket. Mna ke njengomkhokheli ngabantu endibathembileyo kakhulu uRasi kuba ndidlale naye kakhulu kwi-Lions. Ndiyamazi into anokwazi uyenza. And ndiyathemba nabanye abantu bayibonile loo nto kuRasi no-Aiden. Ndilibele unye umbuzo wakho andani abantu kuphenduleyo.
Ndiza kwesibini ngokune. Wesibini man kulo mwela wani kulo mfula wengxaki ebunawo. Azothi izingxaki kodwa ento nje besenzeka. Ungabuya ubhala incwadi ngazo ekugqibeleni ungathi ba ile hlobo ufuna ukukhunjulwa ngalo ezumdlali nomkhokheli nangona ke isende ke indlela yakho kwiqakamba.
Isende ihlobo endibona ngalo mna isende indlela kodwa ke zikhona izinto ezenzekileyo ukuba ndingayibhala incwadi ingane-chapter zayo. Zinto ke endigqithe kuzo ezinde ndandenza lo mntu ndinguyo. And zii-experiences that endibulelayo for zona. Ngexesha ndithatha i-opportunity ithuba ukubana ndibe ngumkhokheli bendingayazi uba bekuzoba ngeli hlobo. Kodwa ke it's not as if bendingazuyithatha the opportunity. It's been eventful, but I'm enjoying le ndlela endihambayo.
Ndiyabulela ke bye.
Ndiyabulela Khanyiso. Nathan? Nathan, uyaqhawuka bhuti. No, you're breaking up badly. Yeah. Can you try and move again? Okay, try again now. Nathan, maybe try again one more time. Okay, cool. We'll wrap it up then in that case. If Nathan. Yeah, I think we'll call it. We'll call it then. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this presser. Thank you for all your lovely questions. We will catch up soon. Have a fantastic remainder of the day.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye.